Am I audible?
ഇവിടെ കേൾക്കാനൊക്കെ നല്ലല്ലേ?
Yes, Robin, yes, it's audible.
The more you give, the more you get. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. A warm good morning to one and all to this inaugural function of 1 week faculty development program on research methodology, organized by Masoma College, Chungatra in association with GDT TLC of MHRD, SGBT Khalsa College, Delhi University. It's my proud and happy moment to welcome you all to this inaugural function. Research is a tool for development our critical thinking skills, knowledge, and facilitating learning, which also allow us to search for facts. So, let's begin this session with the blessing of Almighty Lord. Now, I call upon Atulya from BCom Final Year for the prayer.
God will help us to be a good, avoiding evils and to be morally sound. We should learn to be social being. Thank you, Almighty, for everything. God will help us to be a good, avoiding evils and to be morally sound. We should learn to be social being. Thank you, Almighty, for everything. Thank you, Almighty, for everything.
Thank you, Atulya. Now, I invite our beloved principal, Dr. Rajiv Thomas, to deliver the welcome speech. We are sorry for the delay. He will join the webinar within 5 minutes. Sorry everyone for the delay. Now, I once again welcome our beloved principal, Dr. Rajiv Thomas, for the welcome note.
Respected Professor A.K. Bakshi sir, Vice Chancellor, PDM University, Professor Vimalra Madam, National Coordinator FDP, Reverend S. George, Bursar, Marthoma College, Chunkatra, Dr. George DM, IPSC Coordinator, other faculty members, research scholars, and teachers from different states, my dear friends, a warm good morning to all of you. I am very delighted to address this program because this is the first initiative of our college with an approved agency like GDT TLC and Khalsa College, New Delhi. Being a member of the Research Department of Commerce, I express our love and gratitude to Vimal Rai and Bakshi sir for their care and support in this regard to our institution. The COVID situation has created so many opportunities in the higher education. The various FDPs, faculty development programs coordinated by the GDT TLC, has created so many opportunities to thousands of faculty and research scholars to enlighten themselves and enter into new avenues in the academic area. So this FDP program is the second one coordinated by our department. In the previous year, we have another research methodology workshop, research lecture series known as diffusion. This is the second one as a FDP. So this FDP program focuses on research methodology, and eminent professors from various universities are handling different sessions related to research methodology. I strongly believe that this will be very beneficial to the research scholars as well as to the faculty to enrich themselves. So our manager, Right Reverend Dr. Thomas Mar Titus Episcopa, is expected to preside over this function, but today he has another urgent meeting with the minister, and in this situation, our Bursar, Reverend S. George, is presiding this function. The manager informed me to express his blessings and prayers to this FDP program. Let me enter into my duty. This meeting is presided over by Reverend S. George, the Bursar of our college. So he's a very dynamic person with clear vision about the higher education. His guidance and support is very useful to the future growth of our institution. On behalf of all the participants and on behalf of the GARD and TLC team and organizing committee, I cordially invite our Bursar, respected S. George Achan, to preside over this function. Warm welcome to you, Achan. The inauguration and keynote address is made by Professor Dr. A.K. Bakshi. Bakshi sir is the founding Vice Chancellor of PDM University, Haryana, former Vice Chancellor of UP Rajarshi Tandem Open University, the present Chairman of National Resource Center of Chemistry of MHRD, Chairman of Guru Aknath Dev Teaching Learning Center of MHRD. He has double gold medalist in PhD in chemistry, several awards, several publications. He is an eminent person in India regarding the chemistry as well as in the higher education sector. We have such a resourceful person to inaugurate this FDP and to make the keynote address. With due respect, we welcome Bakshi sir to our college. The another key supporter of this program is Professor Vimalra Madam. She is the guest of honor of this session and addressing the FDP. She is a professor in Department of Chemistry, SGTB, Khalsa College, New Delhi. She is the project head and joint director of GUARD TLC of MHRD. She is the coordinator of National Resource Center of Chemistry of MHRD. Similarly, she had led so many training classes regarding FDP, and more than 55,000 teachers were benefited through the different FDPs coordinated by Vimalra Madam. She is a very expert faculty in the field of chemistry and very familiar with MOOC courses as well as other new teaching learning methods. With due respect, we welcome Vimalra Madam to this program and to this FDP. Similarly, we have our IPSC coordinator, Dr. Georgie TM for felicitation, Staff Secretary, Dr. Anwar Shafi. Similarly, our faculty members are participating in this program in our seminar hall. Various research scholars and faculty from the different parts of our country are participating in this FDP program. So many of them are joining live with us. So many are participating in the videos. So the support from the faculties and research scholars from all over the country is very positive. I cordially welcome all the research scholars and faculty who joined in this FDP. Welcome to our college and to our FDP program. Similarly, the faculty members and the GUARD TLC members, technical team, Himanshi Madam, all other participants of this team, GUARD TLC, are cordially invited to this program. I once again welcome all of you to the Marthama College Chungatra and to the Research Department of Commerce and to this FDP jointly organized by Marthama College and GUARD TLC. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your warm welcome. So now, with immense pleasure, I invite our college person, Reverend S. George, for the presidential address.
Good morning, all of you. Honorable Principal of Chungatra Marthoma College, Dr. Raji Thomas sir, Professor Dr. A.K. Bakshi, Founding Vice Chancellor, PDM University, Haryana, Professor Mrs. Vimalra, Professor Department of Chemistry, SGTB, Khalsa College and National Coordinator of FDP, Dr. T.M. George, Dr. Anwar Shafi, Dr. Binija George, and all faculty members of Marthoma College, Chungatra, and all other distinguished personalities who are attending this faculty development program in person and through online platform. Indeed, I am privileged to be part of this faculty development program, and in the absence of our chairman, Bishop Right Reverend Dr. Thomas Mar Titos Episcopa, I bring his greetings to all who are participating in this FDP. Our college has been established in the year 1981, and we are celebrating our Ruby Jubilee this year, completing 40 years of quality service in this rural village of Chungatra of Malappuram district of the state of Kerala. Our motto is, let your light shine. And our aim is to reach to all the remote areas of this village to impart a quality education to the youths of the society. I take this opportunity to appreciate all who took efforts and responsibilities to arrange this faculty development program. All training programs aim to achieve quality improvement of the participants. This 1 week long FDA mainly focus on research methodology. Research means research. We all are in the search of finding out the truth. There are not many truths that all we know, but only one truth. We may see part of it, but never say, this is the truth. But we all need to see the fullness of the truth. The Holy Bible says, you will find out the truth and the truth will make you free. There must be a close contact of knowledge, information and technology with our social life. We must be more human. Our knowledge and expertise never estrange us from the life of the common people. Rather, it should help the common mass to lift up their lives, to reduce their miseries of the day-to-day life. I know that we have an established panel of experts and scholars as resource persons in this FDP. I wish and pray for the best outcome. May this program be fruitful to all participants and to our college as well. I wish all the blessings of the Almighty God. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Acha. It is my great pleasure and privilege to welcome our chief guest, Professor Vimal Ra, National Coordinator FDP, Joint Director and Project Head GAD TLC of MHRD, who is also a leading woman edupreneur in the field of e-learning and is one of the pioneers in implementing ICT in higher education with many research papers, patent, books, national and international forums in her credential. She has also been awarded with Edupreneur Award by Ministry of Education, the Delhi Ratan Award, Entrepreneur Innovation Award, and various other awards. So now let's warmly welcome her.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Very respected Professor A.K. Bakshi, Vice Chancellor, PDM University and Chairman of GAD TLC of Ministry of Education. Very respected Dr. Rajiv Thomas, Principal, Mar Thoma College. Very respected Bursar Sir, Reverend George. And I also pay my gratitude to Reverend Dr. Thomas Mar Kioskia, who could not join here, but in absentia, I pay my regards to him. I also pay my regards to Professor Jaswinder Singh, Principal SGTB Khalsa College and Director GAD TLC. Many other distinguished colleagues from this reputed institution, which is located in the rural area but doing pioneer work in the leadership of Dr. Rajiv Thomas, and above all dear colleagues as participants who have joined in this FDP, and my dear research scholars who are our future generation academicians in the making. So I welcome each one of you on behalf of Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center. This is the center of Ministry of Education under the prestigious Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Mission on Teacher and Teaching. Let me just share my screen. I hope my screen is visible. So I welcome each one of you in this 1 week online FDP starting today till 17th January 2022, which is themed on research methodology in social sciences, humanities, commerce, and management. The Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center is located at my own premier institution, Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, which is a constituent college of University of Delhi. So I welcome you on behalf of my college and University of Delhi. The scheme is centrally sponsored by Ministry of Education, and it has been named under the very honorable Bharat Ratna Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya ji. And at our college level, at the center, we are seeking blessings from Guru Angad Dev ji, who is the second of the 10 Sikh Gurus. We have state-of-art infrastructure facility, and this center was inaugurated on 1st July 2016 by the then Honorable HRD Minister Smriti Zubin Irani ji. So few words from her on the inaugural event.
आज मैं विशेष रूप से बधाई देती हूँ प्रोफेसर बख्शी को, विमल जी को, जिन्होंने बहुत मेहनत करके इस सेंटर को जीवित रूप में आपके सामने प्रस्तुत किया। ये टीचर की ललक उसके उत्साह का उदाहरण है कि भारत सरकार ने दिसंबर 2014 को माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के हाथों पंडित मदन मोहन मालवीय नेशनल मिशन को राष्ट्र के सामने प्रस्तुत किया। लेकिन उसमें हमने एक शर्त रखी कि जो भी इस प्रोजेक्ट से जुड़े वो स्वयं एक अनोखा टीचिंग लर्निंग का प्रस्ताव लेकर आए, और उस प्रस्ताव में जो अनोखा हो अथवा वो प्रस्ताव अगर शिक्षकों के माध्यम से आए तो विशेष रूप से हमारा सहयोग ऐसे प्रोत्साहित शिक्षकों को जो दूरगामी परिणाम देख सकते हैं, ऐसे शिक्षकों को समर्थन करने का हमारा प्रयास रहेगा।
So I'm thankful to entire Ministry of Education for the continued support that we are getting to take this scheme further. And I'm happy to share that out of around 90 centers, we are in the top 3 or 4 centers, which we keep on interacting with the Ministry of Education. The way that we are taking this center further is about teachers' empowerment. So we keep on conducting various events, some very our own and many now in collaborative mode. And we are also involved in preparation of teachers e-kit, which is an open education resource, and also some development of e-learning objects, which will be empowering teachers for their classroom delivery. So these are the major activities apart from some other activities. And the idea is how for every subject, the teachers can integrate the ICT skills and pedagogy, not only for their teaching learning processes, but that will prepare them for doing good quality research as well. And we have a pool of academic, very senior academicians who are giving us guidance and advice for all the various events that we conduct. And we have this entire team in the leadership of Professor A.K. Bakshi. I'm thankful to you, sir, for sparing your valuable time in spite of your busy schedule for the inaugural address today and always. And I'm also conveying welcome to all of you on behalf of the entire team, including Professor Jaswinder Singh, who and myself, we are the executive heads at the center. We also have another center which where we have done pioneering work in ePG Pathshala project, where we have completed the e-content for these 6 subjects, and all of you can use this for your own classroom teaching. These 6 subjects we have prepared, but in now when we started at UGC level, there were 77 subjects, and almost many of them are now complete, and you can look at your own subject. Don't be in the impression that these are PG courses and it will not be. So there are some overlapping, and I'm sure you will be able to get some videos which you can use it for your classroom teaching purposes and sharing it with as a reference material for your students. Also, ours is the team who has developed more than 50 MOOCs for the same platform, including 42 MOOCs developed in the first phase, when 63 MOOCs at the entire country level were developed under the aegis of UGC. This MOOC I will refer to all of you. You should join. This is currently available, and all students and teachers can benefit. This is something a life knowledge and information, I will say, about cancer fundamentals, and all of you can benefit. We also co-designed the faculty induction program, which is now mandatory. Any new entry into the higher education, they have to necessarily go through the faculty induction program or orientation program. But these faculty induction program have been designed where entire holistic approach for professional development of teachers has been taken into care. And since then, we have been conducting various workshops, events, FTPs, faculty induction programs, many of them face to face going across the country. And since 1st April 2020, now we are online and we are conducting various webinars, FDPs, FIPs in the online mode. And many teachers have been regularly participating in our programs, and through that they're also now becoming collaborators with us and taking this mission further. This teacher secret is my own concept, and those who are willing, they can also contribute here, but that will require entire understanding, and we keep on organizing programs around that. In under the National Resource Center of Chemistry, we have the mandate of conducting ARPIC programs, and through that we have conducted various ARPIT courses since 2018, and we are again in this being rated in terms of not only the number of enrollments. You can see the statistics of last year. Out of 42 courses in various subjects, the chemistry offered by our center has been rated as #1. And in terms of quality of video also, we are being rated in terms of, because unless or until the quality of these programs is good, there will not be many takers. Coming to this today's program, which is starting on research methodology in social science, humanities, commerce, and management, I will like to briefly comment that I think as teachers in higher education, we have two very important roles: dissemination of knowledge through the teaching learning processes and sharing the knowledge which has been generated by others. But apart from that, the creation of new knowledge, which is through the research activities, guiding the research, generating knowledge through research. And this particular FDP is focusing more on the research. And I'm thankful to all the resource persons who will be sharing their valuable time and expertise to share. But briefly, I would like to mention that, just a minute. Research, as we know, is very important activity in higher education, unlike school education, because it will also be developing our own understanding and making us better teacher. But unfortunately, none of our institutions are getting top ranking at global level, mainly due to the quality of our research, citations, and industry income from patents, etc. Also, the number of people coming to research is very less. There is another thing that we have to also consider and try to improve upon. There is a gender gap in research. And according to a UNESCO report on women in science, just 28.8% of researchers are women at the global level. And in India, this drops even further to 13.9% only. In most fields of research, we are followers but not leaders. Although there are some peaks of excellence, which I am not denying, but then this is not happening across the country, across the institutions. And I feel that role of education system is very important in producing good researchers. National Education Policy 2020 also focuses on this, and the National Research Foundation has been envisaged to be established, which will be fostering a research culture in India and to fund competitive peer-reviewed grant proposals. Funding also, they need to be increased, because right now I think it is very less, and it also, because unless or until you have good infrastructure, depending upon different types, the various equipments required, the various field work expenses required, they also need to be increased. But what type of research we are doing, I think that depends on you when you are planning that research, implementing, whether as a research guide or doing on your own. So research activities and research policies must be aligned with each other. With societal contexts is, I think, we have to be really looking for, and this India specific problems and issue, we can do better solutions, we can find better solution rather than outsiders coming. So collaboration with industry is another important area that from research point of view we have to see, that if we can collaborate with industry, see what problems they are having and if they can be solved in a time bound manner. Also, the interdisciplinary nature in research also has to be seriously looked into, and all this depends upon how we are also training the young minds in our classroom, that is the teaching learning methodology. Good research is an outcome of good teaching learning, which is what our team believes, and we should be putting across some simple case studies, some activities where we can nurture that how the solutions of the problems can be found by various analytical tools and the simple analysis to start up with, and they can be made into more scientific and methodological as required in the research methodology. But to increase the research capacity, training of teachers on continuous basis is required, and that's what at GAD TLC our team has taken this massive effort in various fronts. So this FDP focuses more on research, but I think creativity can be nurtured through teaching learning, which will also generate ideas for doing good research. Because research, if you learn the methods, if you learn the tools, but unless or until you have good idea, and you cannot be thinking about a good research happening around you. Also, I feel that which all you have to be empowering yourself is technology is going to play a major role in enhancing the quality of education and research in 21st century. So whether it is the tools which will be helpful to you in your teaching learning processes or in the research processes, you should be equipping yourself with those. So do attend these workshops, various programs which keep on happening, not that just that you require it for promotion, but what all you need to learn to make you yourself more professionally capable of handling the higher education responsibilities is what you have to be looking into. So whether they are e-databases, e-publishing, data collection, data analysis, modeling software, some in silico reactions, whatever, if there are science colleagues, but here I think is more of commerce and other. But most importantly, from whatever subject we are coming from, the type of research that we are doing, we should also be inculcating values in our students, research scholars, and that is very important. What this corona has done has brought the positive part of technology in higher education and education system as a whole, but then it has also shown the ugly as well as some good faces of society. So we want to now reduce the ugly faces. Imagine 80 rupees medicine being sold at 80,000. Where are we heading to? So research, but then with ethics, with values, with honesty, all that you should be imbibing in yourself as well as in your future students. So that's my humble request to all of you. Take it in that spirit, and for the successful completion of this FDP, it will be based on attendance, assignment, quizzes, and projects. Successful completion only if you get more than 50%, and there will be 2-level evaluation for that. Rest details, Dr. Rajiv Thomas and his team will be conveying to you. And I once again welcome each one of you in this 1-week online FDP on research methodology in social sciences, humanities, commerce, and management. So, and I'm thankful to the entire coordinating team for this prestigious institution. And over to you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am, for sparing us with your valuable time today. Also, it is an honor to welcome Professor A.K. Bakshi, Vice Chancellor, PDM University, Haryana, presently Chairman of National Resource Centre of Chemistry, GAD TLC, who has also been a member of Standing Committee of the National Mission on Education through ICT of Government of India, with 180 research papers, 51 e-books in his credentials, and also he has been awarded various prizes. So, let's welcome Sir for the inauguration and for the keynote address on empowering teachers for quality in higher education in India in 21st century. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much for your very kind words of introduction. Good morning, everybody. Esteemed Reverend S. George, the bursar of the college, Dr. Rajiv Thomas, principal of the college, Dr. Vimal Rar, who is the national coordinator of the National Resource Center of Chemistry and also joint director of Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, Dr. George T.M., Dr. Anwar Shafi C., Dr. Binija George, faculty members from the various institutions, and dear participants. It's indeed a great honor and a privilege to have this opportunity to be a part of this inaugural function today. I'm very happy that a 1-week online faculty development program is being organized by Mar Thoma College in collaboration with Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center of the Ministry of Education. And this program is on very important topic relating to research methodology. As you know, Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center has been created under Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Mission on Teachers and Teaching, which is a scheme of the central government of India. The main purpose of this scheme is to empower teachers. And that is why our center has been conducting various faculty development programs across the country on different aspects of higher education. And in that chain, the present FDP is on research methodology. I'm very pleased to inaugurate this faculty development program. When I was asked to deliver the inaugural address, the keynote address, there are quite a few options open to me. But then, since I come from sciences and this FDP is dealing with research methodology in almost all disciplines except science, I thought, let me speak on a very general topic, which will be of interest to everybody. And that topic is, what are going to be the challenges in higher education in India in the 21st century in respect of quality of higher education, and how teachers need to be empowered for that. So that's basically the topic on which I am going to speak now. Let me share my screen first. Is my screen visible and am I audible? Please confirm it.
Yes, sir. You're visible and audible right now.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. So as you can see, the title of my talk is Empowering Teachers for Challenges in Higher Education in India in 21st Century. You know, this talk is basically on empowering teachers because my belief is that the quality of an educational system cannot exceed the quality of its teachers. So if you have to enhance the quality of an educational system, you need to enhance the quality of its teachers to enhance their competence level. So that is basically the thinking behind this talk. Because once we have empowered teachers, they will then empower the students. And that is how the whole process works. We should not forget that teaching is one profession that creates all other professions. So that summarizes the importance of teachers and teaching. Now let's start with the role of a teacher in higher education. It's basically threefold. One is to disseminate knowledge, that is teaching learning. Next is to create knowledge, and that is research and also to guide research. And the third is academic administration and management. So these are the three main roles which teachers perform in higher education. And a teacher is expected to excel in all the three roles. In my opinion, if you want to be an outstanding teacher or a researcher, you may be in any discipline. You need to have a very sound and deep knowledge in your subject. You should be proficient in practical skills. You should have clarity of concepts, and you should have done a lot of thinking on the subject. And you should have the passion to become an outstanding teacher, because nothing great in this world has ever been achieved without passion. So these are the qualities which I feel as a teacher or as a researcher you should have. But they cannot come in one day. You have to really work hard from your student days onwards. And if you want to be an outstanding researcher, besides what I have already said, you need to be an out-of-box thinker. You need to be innovative and creative. That is very essential for research. And 4 C's, as I have written, you should be creative. You should have the courage, commitment, and curiosity should be there. So all these things are very, very important. After all, why do we do research? It's either for knowledge and understanding, or it could be for discovering and verifying new facts, or it could be for supporting truth and proving lies, or it could be for developing new scientific tools and technologies, or for aiding business success. These are generally the broad objectives of research. My advice in respect of research to all of you is do research always with an open mind. If you believe too much, you will never notice the flaws. And if you doubt too much, you will never get started. And then in research, you have to take care of research ethics. Ethics is knowing the difference between what you have the right to do and what is the right thing to do. You must understand this. So research ethics basically refers to the guidelines or moral principles for the responsible conduct of research. And there are many ethical principles. All these come under ethics: honest, objectivity, integrity, carefulness, and you can see the entire list. So this is very, very essential for a responsible conduct of research. And then keep this thing in mind. You may be from any discipline. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Be very, very honest about your research. Many times people omit part of their research finding. That amounts to research misconduct. You shouldn't do that. And one should also not puff up one's results by adding, irrelevant or misleading information. All come under misconduct. Besides that, for both outstanding teacher and researcher, you should have excellent communication and presentation skills. This is very, very important, because no one will really take the pains to listen to your ideas unless and until your communication is effective and impressive. You have to be very careful about that. Presentation is what you say, and communication is how you say it. And both matter a lot, both for a teacher as well as for a researcher. And you will all agree that effective presentation can do wonders and captivate the audience. But there is a lot of thinking, required in making a good presentation. Please note down that all the great speakers were bad speakers at first, but then they worked hard and rose to the top. And one thing more which I would say, that if we want to have really quality teachers, because the quality of a teacher in higher education is linked to the method of recruitment. This is my personal feeling. How do we recruit our teachers in universities and colleges? You have UG degree, PG, NET, PhD, but most of these test only domain knowledge, only subject knowledge. What about the pedagogical training, the art of teaching? That is why, people now believe that we need to have teacher education, so that teachers should also know how to teach. Because there is a fear that qualified teachers may not always be quality teachers. So this is something which is very, very important. Having said all what I have said so far, now I will come to what are going to be the challenges for the teachers in general in higher education in the 21st century. First challenge, in my opinion, is the challenge which comes from information age. We are living in an information age, digital age, where getting any information is possible just by the click of a mouse. But then this age is the age of uncertainty. There is a future of jobs report published by the World Economic Forum, according to which 65% of the children entering primary school right now will be working in the jobs that don't even exist right now. So we do not know where our students in future will be employed. Those jobs may not be even existing now. So this is one challenge and age of uncertainty, we call it. Then this is also an age of artificial intelligence. This is an age where the artificial intelligence will equal the intelligence of the students by the time they finish education. So the question comes that if I have machines with the same intelligence as you, then why do I need you? So that is going to be another challenge. Because the jobs in industry in future are either going to become redundant or getting replaced by automation, artificial intelligence, robotics, and new business architecture. So this new age requires individuals to be at ease with technology, uncertainty, and unforeseen risks. This is something we have to keep it in mind. And teachers need to be aware of this. Because these type of jobs in future will be in danger. What type of jobs? Those jobs which are repetitive, predictable nature. Driving, receptionist, like that. Those jobs which require no critical thinking. Those jobs which require no critical analysis, and those which have no research base or no specialization. All those jobs in future are going to be in risk, are in danger. And third thing which we have to keep it in mind is that this is also an age of mass education. Massification is taking place. This is an age where more students over the next 30 years will graduate than since the beginning of the recorded history. So what does it mean? It means that whatsoever few jobs will be left, there will be so many takers. So the competition is going to be very, very tough. So these are the challenges of the information age. We have to be keeping this in mind. Because as a teacher, the challenge before you will be to teach the child to succeed in a future that you know nothing about. So that's a big, big problem. So teachers need to be empowered on that. And in future, please note it, education is going to be an amalgamation of the transformations driven by Education 4.0, National Education Policy, present pandemic, emerging student needs, and new technologies. Coming to the second challenge for which teachers need to be equipped is that they need to equip the students with the 21st century skills. This is going to be a big challenge. And teachers need to be trained for that. It is said that for success in the 21st century, you need two things. One is rigorous academic content. You need to be very good in the subject. In whatever subject you may be. But besides that, you need 21st century skills. These two taken together lead to deeper learning. So these skills and knowledge students must possess if you want to succeed. And what are these 21st century skills? These are a set of abilities that students need to have in order to succeed in the information age. They will help the students to be competitive in this age. And these are the 21st century skills. Look at that. Learning skills, which include critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. This is 4 C's. Then literacy skills. These include information literacy, media literacy, and technology literacy, IMT. And then life skills, which is flexibility, leadership, initiative, productivity, and social skills. Flips. So let me tell you, in future, in the 21st century, these skills will be the deciding factor for placement, because you cannot have machines with these skills. So those students or those people who have these skills, they will be able to outsmart others. But then the question is, who will teach these skills to the students? It is the teachers. So teachers themselves should be aware of. They need to be empowered for teaching all these skills to the future generation of the students. So it's not going to be very easy. And this is going to be, because when I say critical thinking or creativity, it doesn't mean that you should know the meaning of critical thinking or what is the meaning of creativity. That's not the purpose. The purpose is that you should be a critical thinker. You should be creative. We should be having literacy. We should have the leadership quality. We should have the social skills. And skill is something which you learn because of training, experience, or practice. So people even talk now that these skills should be nurtured in our young students, even from school days onwards. Only then they will be able to become real masters. Third challenge which I feel for which teachers need to be empowered is dearth of creative and innovative minds in India. That's what I feel. There is a serious dearth of creative and innovative minds in India. As a matter of fact, I would say that there is a crisis of creativity in Indian education system. Look at the fact, no Indian scientist working in India has been able to get a Nobel Prize after 1930. C.V. Raman got it. After 1930, it is now more than 90 years, no Indian scientist working in India has been able to get a Nobel Prize. These people got, but then they were non-resident Indians. Even in economics, Amartya Sen, although he is an Indian, but for decades he has been living abroad. Even Abhijit Banerjee, although he is basically an American citizen. So, that is a very serious problem. And we should keep it in mind that Nobel Prize is not a lifetime achievement award, no. And it's only because of our poor quality of research programs that we have not been able to make a mark at the national or international level. This is the QS World University Rankings. The top position by IIT Bombay, 172. And the only university which comes from India in the top is University of Delhi with 501 rank. So, and why we are having so low position? It's primarily because of our research program. I'm happy that this research methodology program is being done. But research methodology, knowing research methodology will not make you a good researcher. Look at this. Even in Global Talent Competitiveness Index, GTCI, this ranks countries based on their ability to grow, attract, and retain talent. Even in this index, India stands at number 72. So the problem is that for excellence in research at that high level, one needs three main things besides others: perseverance and resilience. We sometimes want immediate gains. That's not possible. I remember perhaps a year before last, one of the Nobel laureates in chemistry who got it was 97-year-old. Then you need enormous amount of creativity and open-mindedness. This is missing in our young generation. And then willingness to collaborate. That's also not there. We prefer to work in isolation. We don't collaborate. So this is all required. So one may ask the question, what's the fundamental flaw in our education system? Why we are not able to excel in research? It's basically a reflection of our education system. Our education system, as a matter of fact, does not encourage thinking, innovation, and creativity amongst our students. No, it doesn't encourage. And that's the root cause of our poor research performance. Even new education policy said we also need to transform the culture of assessment. If you want to enhance the quality of education, one way could be you change the system of examination. Assessment drives learning. The way you will assess your students will start learning in that way. Learning, it is said, is a 6-level hierarchy. Cognitive learning. It starts from remembering, understanding, application, goes up to creativity. Creativity is the highest order thinking skill. So we must take our students from lower order thinking skill to higher order thinking skill. Unfortunately, this is not happening because teachers themselves do not know how to do it. They need to be trained for this transition. Our focus is normally on the lower order thinking skills. So even in assessment, our questions should be of higher order thinking skill. That's not there. So assessment process needs to be made more scientific to encourage multiple skills of the students. But then teachers should have the necessary academic skills for this purpose. So they do not have. So that is also a very serious drawback in our education system. Professional development of the teachers is required. We need to have questions in the exams which are on concepts, critical thinking, analytical thinking, and various ways of looking at the avenues of knowledge, rather than on the speedy reproduction of information. See, my simple submission is, without creativity, there can be no progress. And we would be forever repeating the same pattern. So this is the root cause of our problem. And even in research, you are working on research methodology. Research methodology will come later on. The first thing is problem identification. Problem identification means what problem you are going to work on. That calls for creativity. What is your idea? The rest of the things, review of available literature, problem formulation, writing a research proposal, deciding the methodology, sample selection, collecting the data, analyzing and interpreting the data, and writing the research report, all come later on. Starting thing is creativity, ideas. If you don't have the good ideas, research methodology will do nothing. So that's basically the root cause on which we need to worry. This was my article in Education Times of the Times of India about the creativity crisis in the Indian education system. So having said that, the next challenge for which the teachers need to be empowered is coming from the growth of knowledge. Knowledge in all disciplines is growing very fast. So fast that the doubling time of growth of knowledge has shrunk considerably. There was a time when knowledge was getting doubled in 150 years. But now it has come down to almost 73 days. So you can very well imagine how soon our knowledge is getting outdated. In any discipline, what we know is a drop and what we do not know is an ocean. That is why, new education policy also said we need to have the modern syllabi and light syllabi. Why light? So that there is more time for thinking. Why modern? Why modern syllabi? Because, knowledge is growing very, very fast. If we do not revise our syllabi very frequently, there is going to be a gap between what is learned and what should be learned. You are in the 21st century and you are learning things of 19th century or 20th century. How will you excel in research? So this ultimately affects the quality of research. In India, it is said the biggest problem is our students are of 21st century, but the topics are the syllabi which we teach, the content which we teach of 19th century. Courses. Would you please mute them? Yeah, I request you to please mute these people.
Yeah, Dr. Rajiv Thomas and team, please ensure that the participants are on mute.
Yeah, we will mute him, sir.
Yeah, or remove them if they are not
We removed him, madam.
So you can see that we have students of 21st century, but the content which we teach is generally of 19th century. Our courses architecture is of 19th century, and the methods of teaching we adopt is of 20th century. So how we will prepare them for 21st century?
So your PPT is not visible.
Huh?
PPT is not visible.
Why?
Just share your screen again.
No, it was never visible, or now it's not
No,
visible?
now it is not visible. Maybe when he has removed, yeah, just.
I think they have. Is it visible now?
Yeah, now it is visible. You'll have to minimize, yeah, that screen and put it. Put your PPT in full screen, sir.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, now it's okay.
So another challenge for which you need to be empowered is, as Dr. Vimal also pointed out, there is a need to embrace technology and become tech savvy. This is another challenge. Because we have teachers in the age group, maybe from 25 to 65. Some of them are tech savvy, but we need to take everybody with us. And you know that technology is impacting all areas of higher education. So you need to be familiar with all that. Technology has changed the way teaching learning is done. Technology helps in the revision of syllabi through email, discussion forum, video conferencing. Technology helps you in research, in the literature survey using electronic databases. Technology also helps in the professional development of the teachers. Earlier, professional development or refresher or orientation program were done using human resource development centers, but now ARPIT program has come. So technology has changed the face of education. So you need to become tech savvy. This is another area Otherwise, you will be left behind in the race. And now in the years to come, as it has been mentioned, virtual universities are going to come. So we need to work on that. Another challenge is, I'm coming to the 7th challenge, you need to embrace new pedagogies, new methods of teaching which have come with technology. You know, we still teach generally by the traditional talk and chalk method. Though it has many advantages, but it is not without limitations. Talk and chalk method is a teacher-centric approach. It presumes that all students learn in an identical fashion, which may not be true. It's mainly a monologue method. It is slow and time consuming, and many complex concepts cannot be explained on the board. And then, due to the paucity of time, you have to finish the syllabus. You can't solve many problems in the class. And another drawback in our system is our system still, as I mentioned earlier, focuses more on examination, rote learning, and scoring high marks. We do not encourage thinking, innovation, and creativity. There is a rat race for scoring 90+ percentage marks. You know, look at this, what I've written here on the right side. Nearly 70,000 students got equal to or more than 95% marks in CBSE class 12th 2021 examination. Just see. This is the today's reality. Everybody wants to score more than 90+ marks. Nobody is bothered about the conceptual clarity. And without conceptual clarity, how will you have creativity and how will you do good research? This is the big question. Unfortunately, a student's mark sheet has become a prestige sheet for the family, but a pressure sheet for the child. So they take pleasure. Oh, my son or my daughter has got so many high marks. And one more thing which is very important if you want to do good research is you need to follow an integrated approach to teaching and learning. We should not teach subjects in isolation. Generally, we teach subjects as if they have no bearing on other subjects. We have to follow an interdisciplinary approach that will further embolden interdisciplinary research, which is the need of the hour. And we should conduct such activities for the students which challenge the student's mind, enhance creative thinking ability, and improve analytical skills. But the question is, who will do that? It is the teachers who have to take the lead. But then the teachers need to be empowered. They need to be trained. That is why I said in my first slide, the quality of an educational system cannot exceed the quality of its teachers. We have to work on that. You know, we still continue to focus on lecture-based learning. You know, these are some of the leading universities of the world. They still focus on case studies, project-based and problem-based learning, and very little focus on lecture-based learning. Ours is still focused on lecture-based learning. And that's why, you know, new method of teaching has come. This new method is the flipped classroom model. This has become very popular in the 21st century. It is a blended teaching approach. Here, teacher will create a video lecture and share it with the students who will watch it at home. And then they will prepare the questions for the teacher. Look at see how the things are going to change. They will watch video lecture 2-3 times, note down what they have understood, what they have not understood, then prepare questions for the teacher. And then next day in the school, teacher will facilitate discussion and answer student questions. And students will ask questions and participate in the learning activities. So you can very well see that unlike traditional talk and chalk method, flipped classroom will focus more on higher order thinking skill in the class. Because what used to be earlier homework has now become classwork, and what used to be the classwork has now become homework. That is why it is called a flipped classroom model. This is my article about flipped classroom model. And this is also the same. Another challenge which I feel is very important is that teachers need to be prepared for their new roles. We are in the 21st century. So much is happening, so the roles of the teachers are also changing. Now in the 21st century, we need tech-savvy teachers in ICT skills. It is a must. They will have to manage virtual classroom and discussion forum. If students are enrolled in MOOCs and if they have some question, who will answer them? It is the teacher only. So teachers must learn how to manage virtual classroom and discussion forum. Teachers become more of coaches and mentors rather than mere knowledge providers. And then teachers should have excellent writing skills. They have to play a very important role in the development of e-content and MOOCs. And you know now, UGC has already given score for development of all this. So these are going to be the new roles. And another challenge which is there is empowering teachers for education 4.0. No, India is very soon going to enter an era of education 4.0, which is the total technology mediated education. World is presently passing through fourth industrial revolution. Three are already over. First was based on steam, second on electricity, third on computing, and now on intelligence, disruptive technologies. So education 4.0 is aligned with the needs of Industrial Revolution 4. So whatsoever Industrial Revolution 4, what type of manpower it needs, education system should provide the same manpower. This was my article about how education 4.0 will work for coming generations. These are the technologies of the future. Artificial intelligence, robotics, virtual reality, Internet of Things, augmented reality, data science, etc. These are now going to play a very important role. And something very good is going to happen, that there is going to be a shift now to personalized learning. We had a chalk and talk method, e-learning, MOOCs, blended learning, flipped model, and now personalized learning is going to come. Why there is a need for personalized learning? Because every learner is unique. Every learner has different needs, different comprehension rate, different learning capacity. So using learning analytics, you come to know what are the strengths and weaknesses of an individual learner, and then accordingly recommend an appropriate curriculum for that learner. That is the meaning of personalized learning. Gamification is now going to come in education in a big way. Gamification is based on, gaming concepts. What are the gaming concepts? Competition, incentive, and goal attainment. So, based on this, many e-learning games are now available, which teach you many things. So you can see how things are changing. Artificial intelligence is going to come in a very big way in examination. Adaptive assessment, there will be machine set question paper, algorithms will replace mentors, exams tomorrow may be at your doorsteps, digital invigilation will replace physical invigilation and digital attendance. This was a very good report. Exams tomorrow may move to the bedroom, but still the invigilator would be watching. Because there is an intelligent, artificial intelligence proctor which will keep a watch on every movement. And image recognition technique will ensure that the right person is appearing in the examination. So you can see. This is already a scheme of the government of India, NEET, where artificial intelligence is used to make learning more personalized. So here there must be a question in your mind that will technology replace teachers? Please remember, technology won't replace teachers. But teachers who use technology will probably replace teachers who do not. So technology will never replace great teachers, but technology in the hands of great teachers can be transformational. So you should be a great teacher as well as tech savvy. That combination can do wonders. This was my comment in Times of India about technology won't replace teachers. So the message is never stop learning. And lastly, I would just like to share something more for your empowerment. Because, even if you have all these challenges, you are empowered. Some tips I would like to give you, and that is regarding your personality. If you want to excel in your professional, personality plays a very important role. There is a report that 87% of all people fail not because of capability but because of personality. So we sometimes hardly give any importance to personality, but this can be the deciding factor. Have a proactive personality. Proactive people focus on preparing, reactive people focus on repairing. Proactive people don't wait for the ship to come to them, they swim out to it. That's the meaning of proactivity. These are, although it calls for a full lecture, but these are some of the proactive personality traits which you need to develop in yourself. Self-belief, self-control. Self-control means control over your thoughts, growth mindset, having priorities in life, having immediate and distant aim, working hard sensibly. Many people are very good, are very hard working, but without any direction. Direction is more important than speed and time management. Then living in the moment. Don't think too far. Let arrogance not come to you. Then no to worry. Worry is the misuse of imagination. You will suffer more in imagination than in reality. Control yourself. Control anger, positive mindset, resilience, and no fear of failure. These are very easy to write, but very difficult to practice. But once, I would say the biggest competition for you is you only. You need to conquer yourself rather than conquering the world. And once you do that, then the world will be at your feet. So these are some of the traits which can help you. If you look at these, these are some of the habits of highly successful people in the world. No way they act. Action changes things. They have whatsoever they do, they have laser sharp focus. They are very courageous. They take risks in life. They take care of health and fitness and self-learning. This is another important habit of successful people. And please remember, success is a product of daily habit, not of random activities. You have to pursue it. And now to close my talk, I will come with this: challenges keep us fresh. There is a quote, a ship is safe in harbor, but that's not what ships are built for. Similarly, humans are not designed to be happy in status quo. So please continue to remain dissatisfied so that you can get better and better. That will motivate you. Challenges are what keep us fresh. This is a good principle to have both at work and in life. And I think if you keep this thing in mind, don't take every challenge as a problem, take every problem as a challenge. Embrace each challenge in your life as an opportunity for self-transformation. And for teachers, I want to give a message before I close. There is a book called Die Empty. This was written by Todd Henry. Once people asked Todd Henry that what motivated you to write this book. He said that he was attending a business meeting where the director asked, where is the richest land in the world? One said oil-rich Gulf states. Other said diamond mines in Africa. Then the director said, no, it is the cemetery, it is the burial ground. It is the richest land in the world because millions of people have died or departed and they carried many valuable ideas that did not come to light, nor they could benefit others. It's all lying in the cemetery where they are buried. So from this, Todd Henry got an idea that we should not die with our ideas inside us. We should die empty. And then he wrote this book, Live Full but Die Empty. Don't go to your grave with your best work inside of you. Choose to die empty. Don't die old, die empty. That's the goal of life. Go to the cemetery and disappoint the graveyard. Please remember, no one has ever become poor by giving. So that's all what I would say. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure inaugurating this faculty development program and delivering this keynote address on a general topic. But I think this is what is required in each one of you. If you embrace what I have told you, it can be a game changer for your life. So your feedback is welcome. My cell number is there, my email is there, and all the best for the success of this faculty development program. I know many eminent resource persons are speaking on diverse aspects relating to research methodology. That is why I chose not to speak on them again. That was basically the intention. Thank you very much and all the best.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable words and time. Now, for the felicitation, I invite Dr. George T.M., IQAC Coordinator of Mahatma College, Tungatra.
Thank you. Respected Chief Guest and other dignitaries, Professor A.K. Bakshi, Vice Chancellor, PDM University, Haryana, Professor Vimal Ra, National Coordinator, FTP and Project Head of MHRD, Professor Jaswinder Singh, Principal, Sri Gurudev Bahadur Khalsa College, and the Director of GADA TLC. Our respected Right Reverend Thomas Mar Titos Episcopal, our Principal, Dr. Rajiv Thomas, and our Bursar, Reverend S. George, a warm, and all the participants, a warm good morning to one and all. It is my privilege to stand here before this gathering to wish the participants of FDP program all the best. The importance of these kinds of national level FDP in nurturing the talent in research and along with that promoting practices that are prevalent in the current educational era. Today, I am happy that the Commerce Department of our college, under the able leadership of Principal Dr. Raji Thomas and the head Dr. Binija George and the IQAC team of Mahatma Colleges, Chungatara, has taken an active initiative to organize a national level FDP for the faculties and the research scholars from different colleges across the country. I welcome all the participants and wish you all the best. More than attending an FDP program, we should identify the challenges in the emerging educational sector. May this FDP empower the best in you and help you to develop research and management aptitude. It will also enable you to build up ethics and other social responsibilities that we should keep in our mind while conducting the research. And the success of or the fruitful outcome of an FDP program is the active and vibrant interaction of the participants with our eminent personalities in this program. Let me conclude by wishing that each one of you will carry back from here with a bunch of latest knowledge and creativity in your research. Expecting active participation. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Now it's almost time for us to wind up this session. So let's invite Dr. Binija George, Head in Charge, Department of Commerce, Mahatma College, Tungatra, for the vote of thanks.
respected principal, Dr. Rajiv Thomas, the Sir of the College, Reverend S. George, National Coordinator of the FDP, Professor Vimal Ram, Keynote Speaker, Professor A.K. Bakshi, IQSC Coordinator, organizers, faculty members, scholars, and students. A very pleasant good morning to one and all. We are at the end of the inaugural session, and I feel it as a great honor and privilege to have been asked to propose vote of thanks on behalf of Research Department of Commerce, Marthoma College, Chungatram, as well as on behalf of GDT TLC of MHRD, SGBT Khalsa College, University of Delhi. Firstly, I express my sincere gratitude to Professor Vimal Mam, National Coordinator of the online FDP. Thank you, Ma'am, for giving us a brief description about your college courses and activities. Ma'am, you have given us information about research programs, projects, the importance of technology in higher education, etc. Once again, thank you, Ma'am. I will take this opportunity to thank Professor A.K. Bakshi, Vice Chancellor, for giving us an encouraging and motivational talk on empowering teachers in higher education in India in 21st century. Sir pointed out the factors needed for excellence in research. He also mentioned that our education system needs to transform the culture of assessment. It should be more scientific to encourage multiple skills of students. He also expressed that quality of research affects the gap between what is learned and what should be learned, and also spoke about the need for ICT in higher education. He concluded that we need to follow an integrated approach to teaching and learning. For this, the teachers should be empowered with recent teaching learning technique. Thank you, sir, for delivering the keynote address. I express my thanks to the principal, Dr. Rajiv Thomas, for welcoming the girls and participants to the inaugural session of 1 week online FDP on research methodology. I wish to express my sincere gratitude to Reverend S. George, Bursar of the college, for presiding the inaugural session. My hearty thanks to Dr. George T.M., IQSC coordinator, for the valuable felicitation. I wish to thank the organizing committee of 7 days online FDP. I express my thanks to Ms. Adulya C. for blessing the program with opening prayer song. My special thanks to Ms. Ruth for supporting and comparing the session. And also I express my thanks to Mr. Binoj for providing technical support throughout the session. On behalf of Research Department of Commerce, as well as MHRD University of Delhi, I convey regards and thanks to all delegates who blessed us with their presence. Once again, I thank all the girls and participants for being with us today. Thank you. Thank you once again.
Thank you, ma'am. Never stop learning because life never stops teaching. So let's wrap up this session by once again reminding you the first session of online FDP begins at 1:45. Now, I request all of you to rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता गुजरात मराठा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जगजितगंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
I once again thank you all for making this session a wonderful success. Thank you all.